Hey everyone, it's Jeff Douglas, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Golf Strength and Conditioning Coach. And today I'm going to go over 3 big mistakes that I see with my clients or people when they are swinging kettlebells, what these 3 mistakes are, and how you can fix them. All right. So the first thing we're going to go over is people who squat their swing versus hinging their swing. All right. So technically, a squat, your swing is not the end of the world, but it's not the most efficient way. And what's your goal? If you want to try to create more power, more speed, we want to use our big muscles when we're doing that. It's going to put more emphasis into the hips, whereas you squat, it becomes more quaddy, all right? And you tire out a little more quicker doing your squats because you're not using your big powerful muscles in the posterior chain, hamstrings and glutes, all right? So what am I talking about, all right? So someone who squats, when they swing, they bend their knees right away and they come down, and you can see how there's a lot of knee flexion going on right here, right? Knee flexion, knee might translate or move forward a little bit, okay? A lot of times when we squat too, that brings the bell even lower, which then can put a little more stress on our back, all right? And then we don't load as well in the backswing when we do it, because when it comes lower, we don't get as deep and we don't load as much our hips to get more power and speed, and which again, bigger muscles, easier to create more power. It's going to be less work to move the bell, all right? Especially when you get heavier bells, okay? So what we don't want to see is when the bell comes down is you bending your knees like this, so it travels low, and then you're coming up like that. A good kettlebell swing is going to be hinging. So there's a slight bend in our knees, but we don't really change that flex in our knee much more. So when we come down, we're moving at our hips. The bell is now higher when I come through here. It's not low because I am hinging. I get deeper, so you'll see the bell come farther back, all right? And then now I'm going to feel a good stretch in my hamstrings because now I am loading my posterior chain for this. And then once I get to a stretch, my hips are firing, which is going to catapult the bell up, right? So this is what a squatty swing looks like. Up, kind of bend your knee, up, bend your knee, okay? Versus a nice hinge here, where it's a very subtle knee bend, but now I'm feeling everything in that posterior chain, all right? So videotape yourself and check, am I squatting my swings or am I hinging my swings, all right? The number 2 mistake that I see a lot is poor head position. Poor head position can prevent us from maximizing the stretch that we get at the bottom of our swing. So many people, when I'm at the top of my swing, my eyes should be forward. When I come down, my eyes should be looking down. Looking down is going to keep my back in a better position, because if I keep my neck up, I'm going to stay in this extended position in my back, which it won't like. My neck won't like being here either, okay? But more importantly, when I'm down, I can now get way more depth, right? You can see my fingers here. If my head's up, see how they kind of slid forward, all right? I don't have that reach. Getting deeper allows for more stretch, which then creates a co-contraction, creates that nice spring, that catapult to fling it for more power, more efficiency, all right? So when you're doing this, head forward when we're up. As we come down, our head, eyes are down. It's not flexed down. They're just down. Get more depth. And then when I pull my hips through, they come back up right there, okay? So that's mistake number 2, poor head position. So eyes down at the bottom of the swing, eyes straight forward at the top of the swing. The third thing I'm going to talk about is extending in the back during the upswing, all right? So what I'm talking about is when people swing, they extend up here, which then puts pressure on my upper back, all right, and my low back when I do that. Versus when I swing, get your hips to full extension, and then when you're here, you stay standing straight up, right? There's a difference between hips getting to extension versus my back coming back and extending in the back. Don't want that unnecessary stress to put back there. So my back stays stacked, my hips get through, all right? So you have to know hip extension versus back extension when we do this, all right? So I'll show you a swing, and these will be where I overextend. So I'm here, and I'll see many people come up, and they overextend. Versus, now I'm going to swing, and I'm going to get to a good hip extension, my back stays stacked here. A good drill to do for this is if you have a partner there, they would stand there at your top, and they hold their hand, or they would hold a stick, so you know when you get to upright. If you lean back, you're going to poke their fingers, or you're going to poke the object that they had here. So they would have it up here, you would do your swing, come up, and you should just lightly tap it or not tap it at all. If you're whacking it, then you know you're going extending here. So now let's go over a good swing. So here, nice and upright. My eyes are going down, eyes are up. I'm not squatting my swing, and I'm not extending in my back. All right? So those three things are very common mistakes that I see with novice kettlebell swingers. Don't squat, hinge, eyes follow down, eyes come up, and we don't overextend in our back. I hope these help. Leave any comments below if you have any questions, or message me if you have any questions about these tips. Take care.